Major League Baseball back in a big way, and we're going to cover it right now on the early line. It's Sonny right side. It's Joe Ranieri, and we're going to start in the city of brotherly love yesterday, which the weather wasn't giving us a lot of love. Rainy and cold throughout the day, but they squeezed this game in, and I'm glad they did, at least for Bryce Harper's sense. Coming into this game, hitless on the season. Things weren't looking good for the Fightin' Phils. 1-3 overall. You got to take care of your business sooner or later against the Cincinnati Reds, and Bryce Harper was here. Freezing cold, windy conditions blowing in. It didn't matter. 3 home runs yesterday for Bryce Harper, which included a grand slam, a total of 6 RBI yesterday. And it's crazy. You go 3 for 4 this early in the season. You probably should be hitting like 700 at this point. That raised Harper up to 200 on the season because, yes, he came into this game without a hit through 4 games into the season, but a big-time performance for the Philadelphia Phillies as this game goes over the total with a 9-4 win, a much-needed win for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, and it was really only him early in this game, Donnie. If you saw, right, it was like his homers because it was a tight game early thanks to his and then of course once he get the grand slam, everything kind of changed. But listen, it's Bryce Harper, people. We know there's going to be games like this. You expect there's going to be games like this here. It's a good win for Philadelphia, especially after they threw up the game the night before in extra innings, giving up Brogdon, giving up the grand slam. So kudos to Harper, but you know what the long game is with him, right, Donnie? It's can he play in enough games that we can rely on him, or are we gonna have to deal with him being on the shelf for a month and a half? Let's fingers crossed, because if he's healthy and plays 145, 150 games. Yeah, good luck, Braves, trying to keep him in check here down the stretch.
Yeah, rubber match coming up between the Reds and the Phillies in the afternoon. We'll see if it plays here because in the Philadelphia area, rainy and cold once again today here. But you bring up a good point there with Bryce Harper. Usually he's coming in the offseason off of surgery, and last year missing basically half of the season before getting it going. But this year at the end of training camp, you saw the back spasms come up, didn't play a lot down the stretch, scheduled day off already within the first 3 games in the Major League Baseball season. As far as the Phillies goes, it's really going to be Bryce Harper. Marsh actually chipped in yesterday with 3 hits also, but you needed Bryce Harper to get off to a good start. The one thing that we know about pressure, right? You always love a Major League Baseball season, even if you don't start off great. You start off average. You're hitting 300 over the first week of the season. Okay, let's get it going. But when you go 0 for 6, 0 for 7, 0 for 8, 0 for 11 the start of the season, it starts to compound your issues as opposed to getting off to that hot start. Getting off to a hot start this year, no surprise, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. A victory yesterday over the San Francisco Giants, 5-4. Logan Webb took the loss, only 3 2/3 innings pitched and 5 earned runs yesterday. So a tough loss there for Webb, who's supposed to be the ace of the San Francisco Giants staff. You take a look at the lineup, and you know it's powerful. When Ohtani can go hitless in a ball game, and you still win because Mookie Betts is outrageous in hitting 500 already on the season with yet another home run. I believe that's his 5th home run of the season already for Mookie Betts. Superstar shining in L.A. here.
Yep, league leading 5th home run. In fact, Freddie Freeman chipped in 3 more hits here, and you're right. I mean, the Dodgers got to Webb wasn't good. He pitched from behind most of the time while he was out there, and this was a bullpen game for the Dodgers. So this had a lot of people looking towards the Giants here, thinking, all right, I get the ace on the mound going up against Grove and whoever else. Their Yarborough they're going to throw in there. Well, it's, when you have that lineup there, and once again, you can start the game off with a jack by Betts. It makes it a little bit easier to win some games here. And Webb did not look good at all. So hopefully better things are to come for him. Otherwise, the Giants could very well be in trouble.
Yeah, Dodgers closed yesterday, Joe, about a -150 favorite. So it was one of those points that we were looking at yesterday. Like, well, the sharp edge is probably the Giants because it shows there's a legitimate chance for them to win, but also just the public fanfare of the Dodgers that goes, I'm not going to see very many -150s on the season for the Dodgers at home. I might as well take it here. Yep. And granted, it won. So congratulations if you were backing it in that direction. A team finally lost a game in 2024. That was the New York Yankees, who came into yesterday's game against the Arizona Diamondbacks off a win against the Diamondbacks and 5-0 on the season. They now sit at 5-1. The Diamondbacks improved to 4-2 because why? Zach Gallen was tremendous yesterday. And this is a running theme for him. He is a great pitcher, but even better at home out there in the desert. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 6 Ks and 3 walks in that game. And one of the themes that's popping up already for the Yankees early season is Nestor Cortez behind the 8 ball early in games, gives up 3 runs to the Yankees in the first inning, and that was a way 3 runs to the Diamondbacks in the first inning. That was the way she went. 7-0 victory. Impressive by the Arizona Diamondbacks here.
Yeah, and impressive by Zach Gallen and company as well. But yeah, they got to Nestor early, and playing from in front on the road, at home if you're Arizona is exactly what you want to do. But you're right, nasty Nestor is not so nasty anymore here. 8 hits, 3 earned. He walked 2, but he only struck out 2. The thing that I noticed with him is he's not missing a lot of bats here. Donnie, and that's a problem because a team like Arizona, who puts the ball in play a lot, if you can't miss a couple of barrels, you're going to be playing from behind a lot. And with the guys that we're waiting to hit for the Yankees, like let's see, Judge 0 for 3, Rizzo 0 for 4, Stanton 0 for 3. You get the hint on what's going on there too. So not a great start. Fortunate to be 5-1, the Yankees.
Yeah, but you're right about that. Let's just take a look at the top 6 batters in the lineup for the New York Yankees and batting average-wise. 171 for Torres. Then you have Soto, the outlier, 417 on the season. He was only 1 of 4 last night. Judge, 125. Rizzo, 182. Stanton, 150. And Verdugo, 143. Not going to win very many games like that. Now, granted, Volpe's had a good start to the season at 529 and Cabrera at 409. But then Trevino, 111. Wells, 200. You're just not going to get a lot of wins that way. So you're right. Fortunate to be 5-1 at this point without the main parts of your offense actually helping you out in that offensive bottom line outside of basically Soto to start that lineup. We'll see where the Yankees go, but that's a pretty formidable opponent in the Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll see where the rest of that series winds up. Let's head out to the West Coast there. T-Mobile Ballpark, Cleveland Guardians 5, which improves to 4-2. The Mariners only scored 2 runs, and they dropped to 3-3. Castillo, how about this? 5 2/3 innings. 10 hits, 4 earned runs, even though he did have 7 Ks. Bieber, absolutely fantastic on the road. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, 9 Ks, and not a single walk. This is the Bieber that we're used to here.
Yeah, and just terrible condition. It was cold, windy. He's dominating. He doesn't throw terribly hard. It's hard to believe. I saw it on the broadcast last night. I can't believe he's like 28 years old. I feel like Bieber's been around for a million years here, and it's not. But my goodness, is he filthy? It harkens back to the days of a Greg Maddux who wasn't going to blow the ball by you, right? He wasn't throwing 100 miles an hour, but what he did was he put the ball wherever the hell he wanted to, and usually it was where you couldn't hit it. This is the guy that does exactly the same thing here in Bieber. That's back-to-back fantastic outings here, which is a good sign for Cleveland if they can figure out the bullpen, because that's the biggest concern they have right now.
Yeah, you should have an easy win in that first 5 when you take a look at the total to the under. If you just said, hey, by the way, one team's not going to score. Like, what's that, 1-0 at the end of 5 innings? I mean, my goodness, that was an impressive performance by Bieber, wasted by Castillo, who, again, gave up 10 hits over 5 2/3 innings, something that you certainly don't want to see. I'll tell you what you don't want to see. The Los Angeles Angels in town and being the better ball club than your team here. And that's what you're finding out in Miami as Miami drops to 0-6 on the season. And worse off, Joe, 0-6 at home. It's like, hey, man, look. We played the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, 3 games apiece on the road to open the season. Yeah, we would like to win at least 1 or 2 of those games, but we're 0-6. Let's get back home and win some games. The Marlins losing games to the Pirates and the Angels. This is supposed to be a great start for the Marlins here in 2024. They get beat 3-1, and handicapping this game, I thought the Marlins would hit. I thought their team total would be valid in this game because Tyler Anderson is a bad pitcher. Tyler Anderson goes 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, and 5 Ks. An anemic Miami Marlins to open the season here, Joe.
Well, it's bad when Aaron Hicks is hitting home runs off of your pitching staff, and that was really the problem here with Miami, wasn't it? Alcantara gone, Every pitcher that they have that we thought, young arm that they had has either been hurt, is on the shelf, is not going to be there. This is a team that won, 33 and 14 in one-run games a year ago, Donnie. That's going to regress. They lost, Solar to the Giants, who hit a home run yesterday against the Dodgers. They lost their pot. This is going to be a long season, unfortunately, for the Marlins. But you know what? It's what they built. It's what they got there right now.
Exactly. Already they're saying, let's get to see what the Heat can do in the playoffs. Let's see what the Panthers can do in the playoffs. How about the Miami Dolphins? Let's get there. Miami Hurricanes. I mean, already an afterthought into 6 games, into a 162-game slate. That's your Miami Marlins here. Let's take a look at another game, which had an interesting finish yesterday. It seemed to me like the Toronto Blue Jays might never score again in Houston, getting no hit the night before and going into the 9th inning without a single run and facing Josh Hader. That's supposed to be a 1-2-3 inning, but it wasn't. The Blue Jays plate 2 runs on a 2-run shot in the 9th to down the Houston Astros 2-1 yesterday. And by the way, the Houston Astros, the favorites to win the American League. How about this start, Joe? 1-5. Ooh, boy.
Yeah. Well, it's ugly. And we talked about it yesterday, right? We're going, do we trust Berrios going up against Framber? But we were wondering, how long did the celebration the night before last? What were you going to get? Usually we try to, look the other way against, or, look to back teams that got no hit the game prior here. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But ultimately, in the end, Hader, he's had a few of these over the last couple of seasons here, and he had another one last night early on. Entertaining game, but my goodness, big win for Toronto to bounce back after an embarrassing no-hit job against a guy that won't even be in a league in a year from now.
How about that? Marcell Ozuna last night, by the way, got 2 home runs going up against the Chicago White Sox. So I think another easy victory for the Braves, but that's the only 2 runs that the Atlanta Braves scored last night in a 3-2 loss to the Chicago White Sox, who picked up their first victory. You had in this game Crochet, who I actually thought had a chance to get hit around. Keep in mind, we had 15 to 20 mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left field, so you figured if the ball just got up in the air, you would get some home runs. Now, granted, yesterday in this game, we did have 5 total runs, but 3 of those via the home run. But how about that? Shutting down that Braves lineup here. Only 5 hits and 2 runs overall, which did include that 1 solo shot again in the 9th inning to make it a little bit closer than what the game was. The Braves, 3-2. Finally, the White Sox, Joe, on the board here in 2024.
Yeah, no, it was, listen, they're not going to win every game, the Braves here. They're going to lose a few, but those conditions, you're right. It was laughable. Donnie, going, why they even, the people in the stands were miserable. Could you imagine trying to hit in that? Not great. But hey, big win for Chicago. Atlanta sitting at 3-2. It's a long season. I wouldn't get worried just yet, Braves fans.
And by the way, similar weather conditions there across the city for the Chicago Cubs. They played at 12 runs. Why? Probably just because they're playing the Colorado Rockies, who have dropped to 1-5 on the season as the Cubs now open up 2 at home in the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. It's 3-2 on the season. Assad had 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned run yesterday. Kyle Freeland, you might have thought he was actually pitching in Colorado. 3 1/3, 9 hits, 7 earned runs, and 3 walks here. My goodness, what season are we going to be getting out of the Colorado Rockies?